April 1917. United States President Woodrow Wilson makes an appeal to Congress to join the country's European allies in World War I. Days later, our country formally enters the war. Thousands of brothers, husbands, nephews, and friends trained to fight overseas and protect their loved ones at home. Others answered the call of patriotism in a different way.
Reverend William Mark Sexson was born in Arnica Springs, Missouri, to Thomas and Hannah Sexson. He was involved in the ministry of his church as early as 14 years old, and he became a full-fledged minister at age 17. He married and moved with his wife to Indiana, where he became a master mason in Bloomfield Masonic Lodge number 80. A few years later, Sexson moved down south, settling in Oklahoma. There, he continued to serve as a minister and became involved in various Masonic bodies such as Scottish Rite, Knights Templar, White Shrine, and Eastern Star. He was known and admired for his talent for the ritualistic craft and the knowledge of Masonic principles. His most notable offices were Worthy Grand Patron of Eastern Star in Oklahoma, Most Worshipful Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Oklahoma, and a 33rd degree Mason by Scottish Rite Supreme Council. Always a kind, humble, caring, and compassionate man. Feeling called to serve his country, he was chairman of the Home Service section of the Red Cross in his area during World War I. His activity in this organization was the impetus for the start of our Girls' Order.
During World War I, we gave permission to the Red Cross women to use the lobby of the temple and its dining room for various activities. Many of these women had daughters in high school, and the building was located just across the street from the temple. Our Inspector General at the time would allow no one to go over the entire temple unless he was a Mason in good standing. War seems to make things different. From April 1917 to November 1918, girls from 8 to 10 years old came to the temple. It was my good fortune to know many of them. After the war, many of them would come to see me. I thought I could see that it helped the girls to be in this atmosphere, even for a little while. Why not take the youth of our country now and form them into assemblies, with the idea of peace and beauty as their goal?
During this time, DeMolay also began thriving shortly after its founding in 1919. A year later, the Order of Job's Daughters was founded, admitting only girls with a Masonic affiliation. Sexson thought it fitting to establish another Masonic youth organization, one where any girl was able to join. And so began the Reverend's work. On a spring's evening in 1922, he spoke before his Eastern Star chapter, South McAlester chapter number 149, at the request of the worthy matron, Mrs. Sarah Church. At the conclusion of his speech, Church stated, "We would start it if we had someone to write this ceremony of initiation," to which Reverend simply replied, "I will write the ritual." With the help of his church stenographer, Mrs. Helen Ambrose, he wrote the ritual all in a day's work. Looking back on the words Ambrose had written, he decided to call the organization the Order of the Rainbow for Girls. The degrees were first exemplified on April 6, 1922. In the auditorium of the Scottish Rite Cathedral in McAlester, a class of 86 girls were initiated with the help of Sarah Church and her officers. All girls were from Masonic homes. Sybil Ellis, a granddaughter of William Perry Freeman, former Grand Master in Oklahoma, was the active candidate. When the initiation was concluded, Sexson appointed Lorraine Copage, worthy advisor, and Mrs. Agnes C. Cameron, mother advisor. 2 weeks after, 85 more girls were initiated, some from non-Masonic homes. all 171 girls were recognized as the original charter class. In June of the same year, Sexson wrote the laws governing the Supreme Assembly and the subordinate assemblies. At the first concession of the Supreme Assembly, held on the first weekend in June, he realized he needed a governing body to help promote rainbow. On June 30th, he appointed William Perry Freeman as Supreme Worthy Advisor, Agnes Cameron as Supreme Worthy Associate Advisor, and Sidney Gould Bryan as Supreme Treasurer. On September 19, 1922, Sexson increased the membership of Supreme Assembly, appointing Mrs. Annette Ehler as Supreme Charity and Mrs. Alice Miller as Supreme Hope. Minutes show that the first meeting was held in the office of the Secretary of the Scottish Rite Bodies in McAlester on July 8, 1922. Requests for supplies and daily correspondence made for a very hectic session. From 1923 to 1924, Sexson traveled nationwide to promote Rainbow and establish contracts. At the close of 1924, Rainbow had been formally established in Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, Washington, Mississippi, Montana, Florida, New Jersey, Louisiana, Iowa, Michigan, Arizona, New Mexico, Missouri, Tennessee, Illinois, and a small state in the Northeast, New Hampshire.